Once a devoted wife, Ileana is betrayed by the man she loved and the people she trusted. Framed for a crime she did not commit, she is stripped of her name, her freedom, and her future, and sentenced to a living hell far from the world that abandoned her. At the edge of death, when all hope is lost, fate intervenes. Ileana is given a second chance, one that leads her to Hajan, a cold, dangerously captivating billionaire whose power reaches into the darkest corners of the world. He offers her protection, influence, and the means to destroy those who ruined her life. She swears her heart is dead. Love is a weakness she can no longer afford. Revenge is all that keeps her alive. Yet with every low whisper of his voice and every unreadable glance, her resolve begins to crack. In a world built on lies, power, and blood-stained secrets, Ileana must choose. Vengeance that will consume her, or a love that may be even more dangerous.
Pleasant tales, the heart can hear, a world reborn in every tear.
I stepped on my brake pedal and gave myself a minute to catch my breath. My hands were shivering and I felt chilled to the bone. I still could not believe what I had just seen. I opened my phone and watched for the umpteenth time the pornographic video that had been sent to me anonymously. My husband of almost 2 years was in bed, having sex with a woman that wasn't me. His face was revealed in the video, while hers was concealed. The only thing I could make of the woman was her slender wrist and the gold bracelet around it. It seemed oddly familiar, but I could not remember where I had seen it. For 2 years, I believed my marriage was the best in the world because my husband, Jiho, adored me and worshipped the ground I walked on. I was the richest woman in the city and my company, Liana Industries, was the #1 in the country. Yet, my happiest moments were the ones spent with my husband. That was how much I loved him. How could he betray my trust? Hands still shivering, I called my best friend, Yaren's number again. "I just pulled up in front of your house," she told me. "Your husband's car is parked outside, so I am guessing he is still at home." "Thank you, Yaren. I'll be there soon," I sniffled before hanging up. I breathed in and out and continued driving. Yaren was my best friend and one of the few people I trusted most. When I first received the video, I was so shocked that I forwarded it to her. She called me immediately, expressing her shock and disappointment in my husband, whom we had all believed was a saint. Since her office was closer to my house, and I was on my way home, she started heading there to meet me because she knew how devastated I was. Ever since I watched the video, I had been trying to reach my husband, but he wouldn't take my calls. I finally arrived home and saw both my friend's and husband's car parked outside. I went inside the house and met her packing up and down sadly. The moment she saw me, she ran to me and hugged me. "I'm so sorry, Anne," she whispered as tears fell from her eyes. Unable to hold back anymore, I broke down in tears and cried my heart out. Yaren kept stroking my back as she comforted me. More than 30 minutes passed before I finally calmed down and wiped my tears. "What are you going to do now?" she asked me. "I met your maid leaving when I arrived, and she told me your husband is asleep in your bedroom." I scoffed, "Asleep? How dare he sleep soundly after betraying me? I will confront him right away." Yaren offered to go upstairs with me, but I refused because I knew I had to confront Jiho alone. I went up the stairs and pushed the door to our bedroom open. I came face to face with Jiho, but nothing about his facial expression showed that he had been asleep. I glared at him with eyes full of tears. "Why, Jiho? How could you betray my love and trust?" Without a word in reply, he walked past me and began to leave. "Jiho!" I yelled as I suddenly lost it and went after him. He descended the stairs, taking 2 at a time while I charged behind him. Just as I reached out my hand to pull his shirt so he could stop moving, his foot slipped and he tumbled down the stairs. There was a loud cry from him, and it attracted Yaren's attention. She ran to the foot of the stairs and stared at him in surprise. She looked up at me and asked almost inaudibly, "Did you push him?" I shook my head and proceeded to descend the stairs as I said angrily, "Get up, Jiho, because today, the sky is going to fall." Jiho did not move, but lay on the ground unconscious. Yaren took a step back as she suddenly noticed that blood was oozing out of his head. Seeing her reaction, I went closer and inspected his body. I drew my breath when I also realized that he was bleeding. Despite my anger toward him, I could not let him bleed to death. "I will call an ambulance," I told Yaren, who seemed frightened. The door to my living room was suddenly kicked open. I heard footsteps of men approaching, but could not be bothered by them as I kept staring at Jiho's unconscious body while requesting for an ambulance to quickly arrive. After speaking on the phone, I finally looked up and noticed that the 3 men who had barged into my house were policemen. I was about to ask them why they barged into my house forcefully when one of the policemen ran to Jiho, squatted and touched his neck, and then declared, "He is dead." My phone fell off my hand as I gasped in shock. Yeren cried out, "No, how is that possible when he merely fell off the stairs?" One of the policemen approached me at this point and held my hands together. I barely moved as I was still in shock from the news of Jiho's death. "You are under arrest, Mrs. Jiho, for the murder of your husband," the policeman stated. "You have the right to an attorney and you have the right to remain silent because whatever you say now can and will be used against you in the court of law." My mouth fell open as I was handcuffed and led out of the house by 2 policemen, while the other one attended to Ji. As I was being taken away, everything began to feel surreal. The voices around me became echoes, and the last thing I remember hearing was Yeren's voice assuring me, "I know you didn't push him, Ileana. I saw everything with my eyes. Don't worry. I will get in touch with your lawyer and get you out as soon as possible." At the police station, I was cuffed and kept in a dimly lit room with 4 chairs, 1 table, and a window. I was exhausted, and my eyes were puffy from crying. Even though Jiho cheated on me, he was the love of my life, and I could not believe he was no more. In a flash, I had become a widow, the youngest I knew because I had just turned 20 a month ago. The 3 policemen sat in front of me, questioning me as though I were a common criminal. "Don't you know who I am?" I asked. "I own foundations, charity organizations, and free hospitals. I help people, not hurt them. No matter what, I could never murder a man I loved with my life." "Stop beating around the bush and answer the damn question," one of the policemen yelled at me, slapping his palms on the table. I didn't have to be a police officer or a lawyer to know that what the men were doing was not standard procedure. They were biased toward me, and I had no idea why. "I won't speak anymore until my lawyer gets here," I stated, throwing the policemen into a fit of rage. They began yelling and issuing threats, but I said nothing further until they eventually left the room. I had already been at the station for 6 hours, and I waited for 2 more, but my lawyer did not show up, and I was not allowed to make any phone calls despite repeatedly requesting to be allowed to make one. "We can't wait for your lawyer forever," one of the policemen came back and told me. "I am exhausted, and in 2 hours, I'm throwing you in a cell and leaving for the day. Perhaps after spending the night in a cell. You will be more cooperative." "Please, I just need to make 1 phone call," I cried. "Please, it's my right." He sighed and finally handed me a phone, as though he was granting me a mighty favor. "Hurry up," he ordered. "You have less than a minute." Thanking him, I immediately called Yeren's number. I had left my phone back at home since I was arrested unexpectedly, and unfortunately, I didn't know my lawyer's number by heart. I was someone who kept a small circle and spent most of my time working. Jiho and Yeren were the 2 people I trusted most in the world, but now, Jiho had betrayed my trust and died. The only person I had left was Yeren. She picked up when her phone rang the 2nd time and asked, "Who's this?" "What are you doing, Yeren?" I asked. "I have been at the station for over 8 hours and you are nowhere to be found." "I am so sorry," she replied. "I cannot begin to imagine what you are going through right now. I am on my way to you now with your lawyer. Everything will be fine, I promise." I wanted to ask Yeren what took her so long, but once I heard she was on her way with my lawyer, I heaved a sigh of relief. Nothing else mattered at that moment. I just needed to get back home, take a shower, eat, and think of my next line of action. "My lawyer is on his way," I told the policeman who snatched his phone from me and walked out of the room. It took 20 minutes for Yeren and my lawyer to arrive. However, when they walked into the room where I was being held, I realized the lawyer who accompanied Yeren wasn't my lawyer. He was very young, and I usually wasn't someone who judged people based on appearances, but he seemed incompetent to me. "Where is my lawyer?" I asked Yeren, feeling displeased. She sighed. "I am so sorry, Ileana. Your lawyer has been in the hospital for 2 days. He had a heart attack and has not recovered fully yet. I tried so hard to convince his wife to let him come with me, but she refused. I spent the last few hours trying to get other renowned lawyers to take up your case, but they all have their hands full, handling cases for top politicians, and time was running out. Attorney Yejin was the best I could get on such short notice." Hearing her explanation, I suddenly felt guilty for getting upset. It was obvious Yeren hadn't rested since I got arrested. Her exhaustion could not be more obvious. I smiled at her. "Thank you for everything. For now, let's talk about getting me out of here today before the policemen come back." "I'm afraid that will not be possible," the young lawyer said as he sat down. Ileana, too much time has passed already. You will be given no other option but to sleep here. The best I can do is make a lot of phone calls and get you to appear before a judge tomorrow. The earlier your case is tried, the sooner you can be acquitted of all charges. I nodded. Okay, I guess I could survive a night here. I would advise you to take a plea bargain. His next words took me by surprise. Both Yaren and I asked at the same time, "What?" He nodded. Just listen. We can come to an agreement with the prosecutor, and you can admit that you attacked your husband in the bedroom and slapped him repeatedly. He got upset and ran, just to get away from you. While he was running, he fell off the stairs and died. That way, your crime would only be attacking him with your hands while in the bedroom. You will most likely just be fined for that and allowed to go afterward. I shook my head. No, I will never admit to a crime I did not commit. I am being completely honest with you, my lawyer told me. Your husband is dead, and the video of his affair is with the police. That's a piece of very strong evidence against you because they will use it to establish that you had a motive for killing him. Your best bet is a plea bargain. No, Yaren cut in, agreeing with me. Attorney Yejin, I was there and I witnessed everything. The police saw me there when they arrived, so they can't doubt me. Ileana did not touch her husband. He fell on his own and died, and that's exactly what I will tell the judge. Don't worry, Ileana. My testimony will prove your innocence. I sighed in relief as I thanked Yaren repeatedly. There's no need to thank me, she expressed. You are my best friend and I will do anything for you. The next morning, just as my lawyer had promised, I was arraigned before a judge. I had been restless throughout the night as it was my first time being in a cell. I tried not to cry because I knew it wouldn't help my situation. I convinced myself that I was just unfortunate. I never should have married Jiho. After the judge questioned me, I took a plea of not guilty. My attorney didn't seem pleased by that, but I didn't care. No one was going to make me admit to something I never did. Since it was my first appearance, I expected that I would be granted bail and allowed to show up in court from the comfort of my home during the preliminary hearings. I planned to get the best lawyer for myself once I was released on bail and got access to my phone. However, nothing like that happened. The judge allowed a 10 minutes recess and I was called back in. The prosecutor began to speak and afterward called me to the docks to narrate everything that happened. Once I was done, he asked me to step down and return to my seat. When I did, the prosecutor stated that he was calling one of the 3 witnesses he had for the day. I turned to my lawyer to ask him why witnesses were being called in on the day of my first appearance, but he ignored me, got up, and took another seat. Since Yaren was still sitting beside me and holding my hands, I relaxed. In the end, her testimony would set me free. The first witness of the prosecutor walked into the court, and it was none other than Jiho's younger sister, Soha. Her eyes were puffy, and I guessed it was because she had been crying. I knew how much she loved Jiho and how much he doted on her. I had done so much for her ever since I married her brother. I gave her boyfriend a job and had her on my payroll even though she did nothing but live a lavish lifestyle and spend above her means. I was just a year older than her, but she was practically my responsibility, and it was all because of my love for her brother. I waited for her to tell the court how amazing I had been to her and my late husband. After taking her oath, however, the first sentence she made was, "Everyone knows that Ileana is an extremely mean and evil woman." My eyes widened in shock, and I could not believe my ears. Yaren put her arm around me at this point, and the black woolen jacket she wore provided me with some warmth as I felt chilled to the bone. Soha continued, "Just because she had more money than my brother, she threatened him often. While he was still alive, my brother complained to me a lot. He was tired of the marriage, but he could not leave because he was scared that she would kill him. Her wickedness pushed him to have an affair, and finally, she killed him. She must pay for my brother's death." "That is a lie." I got up and spoke as I could not bear to hear any more of her lies. She was crying profusely, making her look like the truthful one. Tears rolled down my cheeks as I said, "I did nothing of what she has said. Jiho and I never had issues. We were happy and loved each other. I am not evil or quarrelsome, even my employees can attest to that. My marriage was perfect, and that was why I was so shocked when I saw the video of my husband's infidelity. He was running down the stairs when he fell and died." The judge who waited for me to finish said, "Ileana, you are not allowed to speak unless I give my consent. Don't repeat the mistake you have just made. Now sit down." I quietly sat down and wiped my tears while Soho was taken off the witness box. "I am going to call on my second witness for the day," the prosecutor continued. I watched in surprise as my secretary, Bora, entered the courtroom and went straight to the witness box. She was one of the most loyal and competent people in my company, and I treated her like my sister. When her mom had cancer, Bora had been devastated, but I acted quickly. I started an international cancer foundation, spending millions of won to fund more research, ensuring that her mom got the best treatment. Once her mom recovered, I let her stay away from work for 6 months so she could be with her mom, and during that time, I ensured she was still paid her salary and gave her a lot of financial bonuses. I didn't know why she did not tell me that she would be testifying in court, but I believed her words would prove how much of a liar and ingrate Soha was. After taking an oath, Bora began, "My boss, Ileana, is a tyrant. She is evil and all the employees in her company are scared of her, including me. It was no secret that even her husband was terrified of her. I'm not surprised she killed him. She has a heart of stone and money is all she cares about." "Bora," I got up and cried. "How can you tell such lies against me after all I've done for you?" The judge got upset at this point and struck her table. "Silence. One more word from you, Ileana, and you will be held in contempt of this court. Sit down." I immediately sat down and wiped my face dry. There was no use crying over useless people. Once Yaren gave her testimony and vindicated me, I would show them what a tyrant was capable of. I looked at Yaren, who gave me a reassuring smile. She was the only one I had left. I didn't know what I would have done without her. After Bora left the witness box, the prosecutor called on Yaren as his third witness, and I smiled. She patted my back and got up. Before approaching the box, she took off her black jacket and placed it on my hands. She was wearing a long, sleeveless lemon gown, and my gaze stayed on her as she entered the witness box. Once she was given a Bible to take her oath, my eyes caught a gold bracelet around her wrist. I gulped as I recalled the sex video that was sent to me yesterday. It was at that moment I realized that I had seen that bracelet before on Yaren's wrist. The same bracelet, the same slender wrist. Yaren was the woman who had an affair with my husband. I felt like I was seeing a movie. I wasn't able to react or do anything else. I watched silently as she took an oath and afterwards said, "I'm sorry, Ileana. I know you asked me to lie to everyone and cover for you, but I can't do that. I am under oath, and your husband was a very good man. An innocent life was lost and justice must prevail." "Your Honor," Ileana pushed her husband from the top of the stairs. She killed him with her hands, and I witnessed it all. I closed my eyes as tears once again rolled down my cheeks. Quick pause. If you're enjoying this story so far, make sure you're subscribed to Blasian Folktales. That way, you won't miss the next episode or the twist that's coming. We post new Blasian Folktales and series episodes, and subscribing keeps you locked in for every reveal, every secret, and every moment that makes these stories special. It only takes a second. Tap subscribe, turn on the bell, and you're good to go. All right, no more interruptions. Let's jump right back into the story. Everything felt like a dream. Just like that, I had been condemned for something I never did. My only crime was being too kind and trusting the wrong people. As I was being transported by ship along with a few other prisoners, the judge's words echoed in my ears. "This court finds the accused, Ileana, guilty of first-degree murder and sentences her to life imprisonment with hard labor in the Chengual Island prison." I recalled the triumphant look on Yaren's face as I was being taken away and could not understand what I ever did wrong to her. When I met her so many years ago, I had just finished high school. Being the daughter of the richest man in the city, I lived in affluence as opposed to her who was struggling to get by. I saw her working as a waiter at a party and took her side when a guest treated her disrespectfully. We got close from that night, and I got to find out that she had no family. She was an orphan who had to work from a very young age just to survive. I didn't have friends because I was more of an introvert, but I made her my friend. I felt very sorry for her and began to change her life. I paid her college tuition, and after she graduated, I gave her millions of won to start up her own company. Even the luxury car she drove was a gift from me. No matter how I thought about it, I had never done anything wrong to her. Why did she have an affair with my husband and take advantage of his death to send me to prison? Nothing made sense to me. After traveling for hours by sea, we finally arrived at the island. I was led out of the ship by the armed officials, along with 6 males and 3 other female prisoners. A feeling of dread consumed me as we were led toward the prison. Staring at the chains around my hands and legs, I wondered how I was going to live the rest of my life in bondage. The island prison was surrounded by rugged cliffs and turbulent waters. The prison's architecture was a maze of cold, gray concrete and steel, with narrow corridors and cramped cells that seemed designed to crush the spirit. Inmates were forced to wear drab, striped uniforms, and I was no exception. I was kept with 2 other ladies in my cell after my chains were taken off. The striped uniform on my body was a reminder that I had to live the rest of my life in misery. That night, I wailed like a baby, in a way I had never done before. The other 2 inmates tried to offer me comfort, but I paid no attention to them as I immersed myself in my sorrows. I didn't know when I finally slept that night, but I was forced to wake up in the morning. During the succeeding days, my life followed the same pattern. I didn't speak to anyone, and my cellmates eventually stopped trying to make conversation with me. I observed every single thing that happened and persevered despite the blisters that appeared on my palms every day. Our days were marked by the strict routine of roll calls, lockdowns, and backbreaking labor in the prison's quarry or workshops. The air was always thick with tension, and the ever-present threat of violence hung over the prison like a dark cloud. The island itself was unforgiving, with rocky shores, steep cliffs, and dense, impenetrable forests that offered no escape. Guards, watchful and stern, patrolled the perimeter, ever vigilant for signs of escape or rebellion. On the island, the lives of prisoners were marked by the relentless rhythm of work, our days blending together in an endless cycle of toil and hardship. For someone like me, who had never lived under such harsh conditions before, it was hell on earth. All the people I loved had turned against me, one of the kindest people in the world. I sat in my cell, still asking myself what I did wrong when a warden informed me that I had a visitor. My eyes widened in surprise. I had been in prison for just 2 weeks, and although it felt like 2 years, I was still surprised that someone came all the way to visit me. However, the glimmer of hope in my eyes died the moment I saw who it was. If Sioyan was visiting me, then it couldn't be good. She was my stepsister and the last person I expected to see. My mom died when I was very young, so my dad remarried. He married a woman who already had a daughter because he thought she would be able to extend her motherly love to me, but that never happened. My stepmother was greedy, selfish, and full of schemes, and Sioyan was just like her. After my dad realized their true colors, he willed all his properties to me and gave me the responsibility of providing for them because he knew I had a kind heart. I had spent millions of won on both mother and daughter, but they continued to make life difficult for me until Jiho asked me to cut them off completely. I gave them more than enough money to build their lives and hadn't seen either of them in almost a year. Dressed in luxury clothes, Sioyan crossed her legs and had a gleam in her eyes as she stared at me in disgust. "What do you want?" I asked impatiently, refusing to sit down. She smiled. "Those people, Jiho and Yeren, you trusted them so much and pushed your true family away. Now that they have betrayed you, how do you feel?" "Are you here to rub it in?" I asked. She chuckled. "Of course not. Do I look jobless to you? I came to show you something interesting. Sit down." I sighed and sat down while she took out her phone and said, "I had someone keep an eye on Yeren, and you won't believe what I found." She showed me a video of Jiho and Yeren kissing passionately in a bar as she revealed, "Your husband is still alive." If it weren't for the date and time stamp on the video, I would have thought Sioyan was lying to me. As I watched the video, everything began to piece together in my head. I recalled when Jiho had first approached me for a relationship. I had refused his advances, especially since I had just clocked 18, but Yeren kept encouraging me to give him a chance, claiming we were perfect for each other and would be together forever. Back then, I was amazed at how Jiho and I had the same tastes, interests, and even fashion sense. I believed he was truly destined for me. Only after Sioyan's revelation did I realize that Yeren had planted him in my life and told him about my likes and dislikes. No wonder he seemed so perfect in my eyes, and I ended up falling in love with him. They deceived me for so long and plotted my downfall. The false testimonies from my secretary and Jiho's sister finally made more sense to me. I felt so much anger surge within me and a deep yearning for revenge. Jiho, Yeren, Jiho's sister, my secretary, the policemen, and others, they all had to pay. I had been so foolish that I believed Jiho was dead just because those policemen said so. Yes, I was the fool, and that was why I was in prison while Jiho and Yeren had taken over my company and assets. "Listen, I do not care about you in the slightest," Sioyan spoke when she saw the tears in my eyes. "I am here because I cannot watch Dad's wealth fall into the hands of those outsiders. I can help you find a good lawyer, expose Jiho and Yeren, and get you out of here. In return, I want 50% of everything you own, including your company, Liana Industries." I clasped my hands together as I promised. "Sioyan, I swear, if you get me out of here, I will give you not just 50% but everything I own." Right now, the only thing I want is a chance for revenge." She smiled. "Now, that is an offer I cannot afford to refuse." Taking out a document from her bag, she said, "First of all, you need to sign this." I stared at the document and noticed it held the rights to my foundation that helped homeless kids. I had more than 300 million won in the foundation's purse at that moment. I gazed at Sioyan in surprise and she shrugged. "The people I'm up against are very rich and powerful, thanks to you. If I am to go after them, I need this money." "But you have enough money to fight them," I reminded her. She smiled. "What do you take me for? I can't use my personal money to do this. You trusted them more than me, so you have to fund everything. Just sign this foundation over to me, and within 1 week, I'll get you out of this hellhole." I didn't trust Sioyan in the slightest, but I was desperate. After hesitating for a few seconds, I signed the document and Sioyan left. From the moment I learned that Jiho was alive, peace eluded me. I had sleepless nights as I waited for Sioyan's return and planned my revenge quietly. 1 week turned into 2 and 2 weeks into a month, but Sioyan did not return. After 2 months of waiting for her, it became clear as crystal that I had been scammed. I wasn't surprised, though. If Yeren, whom I had considered my best friend, could betray me, then who was Sioyan? They could even be in the same boat, working together to ensure that I was left with nothing, including my will to live. After 2 months, 2 weeks, and 24 hours of being in the island prison, I sat in my cell thinking about what to do. That night, the winds howled through the prison's corridors like a chorus of lost souls, adding to the sense of desolation and hopelessness I felt. The man I had called my husband, the one whom I would have gladly given my life for, the one I had supposedly killed, lived in affluence, lavishing my fortune while I was condemned to spend the rest of my life in an island prison for his death. What could be worse than such a fate? I woke up in the morning with a determination. If being in the island prison was truly my fate, then I would fight it until my last breath. I would take my chances with the Chenggual Sea. After the routine call that morning, I ate the food I hated because I needed all the energy I could get. Throughout the morning, while working, my focus kept shifting to the escape route I had settled on. When I spotted 3 female inmates staring at me, I turned my face away. I focused my attention on the male inmates. They fared worse because they had to work with chains binding their hands and feet, as opposed to female inmates who were allowed a measure of freedom while working. Clad in worn uniforms, the male inmates toiled in the scorching sun, their bodies weary from the endless labor. The air was thick with dust and the smell of sweat as they hauled heavy loads of stone and rock. The sound of pickaxes striking stone echoed through the quarry, a constant reminder of their confinement. I turned my face away from them when the alarm sounded, indicating it was time for our lunch break. During this time, the guards, securing the perimeter around the female section of the quarry, left to have lunch. The guards in charge of leading us out of the quarry came as usual, and we were made to form a straight line. With 2 guards in front, a guard at the back, and 30 female inmates in between, marching, I stayed in the middle, my gaze on the cliff which could grant me my freedom if only I could go over it. I knew I was courting death by even harboring such a plan, but everything else was better than being a prisoner on the island. A lady behind me who noticed the direction of my gaze asked, "Are you curious about what is after the cliff, or what would happen if you jumped off of it?" I turned and stared at her briefly. She flashed me a smile, but I did not return it. I didn't know what she was trying to do, but I was done making friends. I looked away from her and focused my attention on the cliff. I already knew what was after that cliff because I had seen it on the day I arrived on the island. A sudden scream from the part of the quarry where the male inmates worked diverted everyone's attention. Once they all turned to see what was going on, I took that as my cue and began to run toward the cliff. In my entire life, I had never run so fast. Just as I got close to the cliff, the sound of a loud whistle filled my ears, just as the sounds of gunshots filled the air. Without a moment of hesitation, I jumped off the cliff, plunging into the Chenggual Sea. I began to swim as fast as I could, away from the island while several bullets kept passing by me as the sounds of the gunshots intensified. I swam even deeper, in order to make the guards give up. However, a bullet finally caught me and penetrated my shoulder. I cried out as I felt excruciating pain. I tried to swim further but could not move my arms anymore. I was bleeding too fast, and the water around me changed to a red color. I found myself sinking and began to see my life flashing before my eyes. Still, my heart burned with a vengeance. I knew it was the end of the road for me, but I was not ready to give up yet. In my heart, I began to pray. I wished for a second chance, an opportunity to live, even by some miracle. As I felt my life slowly ebb away, I saw the face of the one person who had loved me from childhood to adulthood. "Dad," I whispered, right before darkness engulfed me.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, like, share and comment below.